Okay, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be going over basically the mindset and what it takes to kind of pursue this type of hobby. But before we get into that, I just want to recap. So tonight was my first night training my legs since I hurt my knee, and I kept the weights extremely light. And I've said this a lot, and I've gone over this many times from a lot of different perspectives in these videos, saying if you get hurt, the best way to rehab is finding a pain-free range of motion that does not hurt or bother you. Do not work through the pain, work around it. Find something that you can do that you can get a full range of motion, pain-free, for movements, because the fastest way to heal up your leg or your body in general is through blood flow. The more you can move a muscle pain-free, and the more you can move a joint pain-free, the more you're going to encourage blood flow into that area, and that blood is what carries all the nutrients in the body to that area to help it recover, repair, and make a speedy recovery. The longer you stay off of it, the longer you keep from moving it, the longer your recovery is going to be. So as soon as you're able to move it pain-free and a full range of motion, start moving it as frequently, as often as you can, and get as much blood in the area as you can. Because tonight, I was able to do everything I wanted to do, excluding the amount of weight. So I kept the weight extremely light tonight. I didn't put any load on my body that was excessive, and I just took my leg through a full range of motion. And so far, nothing bothered my knee and nothing bothered my groin. So I was able to tonight, successfully work out without having any issues. Now, next week when I work out my quads again, I'll increase the load very slightly, not a lot. I'm not going to make a huge jump. I'm just going to do a little bit more than I did tonight, and I'm going to continue to do this until pretty much I feel like my knees and my groin is healed up enough to start actually pushing myself into this, air quoting here, bulk season. So with that being said, now that's going to take us into the mindset. So a lot of times it's easy to get discouraged and it's easy to lose your focus and your train of thought whenever you're doing stuff like this, especially when hunger kicks in, or if you're trying to gain weight, if you're overly full and you don't feel like eating, or you get bumps and bruises and you get hurt, or you do suffer from injuries, and then your mindset can kind of spiral out of control downwards, and then it's kind of hard to pick yourself up out of that gutter whenever you get there. And it's like, okay, well, how do you keep yourself from getting there? Well, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. You will end up there, and it's a matter of how you handle it while you're there that matters.
Yeah, for me, the mindset, it is a little hard because after working all day or taking care of the kids and doing everything around the house, my mindset is to lay around and not do anything. So I'm trying to get better at wanting to go into the gym and not making myself go to the gym.
Yeah, like it's a difficult thing. Like once you starting out, but once you get into it a little bit, and like the first week, second week kind of thing, and you build it into more of like that habit nature, it becomes a lot easier, and it becomes something that for me, like I look forward to this part of the day, like getting to go into the gym and do the workouts and everything like that. Like my time at work actually gets broken down and like to basically my meals prepping to go to the gym, and that's how my day flies by for the most part. So it's actually like being back in the gym on a regular basis and having something to focus on has helped me just kind of move through my days a lot easier than what I was doing before, where the days kind of just drug on because I didn't have anything I was really looking forward to doing during like every day.
Yeah, but with that being said, that's kind of more talking about the beginning of the program and when you're first getting into it. Most people get into it and they're pretty excited and happy to start because of it's beginning a new chapter in your life, and it's beginning phases, and it's beginning newbie gains, and that's whenever the results are going to come the fast. But more along the line of what I'm talking about, the mindset is whenever, like towards the end of our last training program, you were really beat up, you were fatigued and exhausted, and every day it was, I'm not going to say it was a fight for you to get in there, but when you were in there, you were struggling. And it's not that you didn't want to be in there, but mentally and physically, you were burnt out and you were beat up and you were ready for some time out of the gym, like to get a week out of the gym to kind of rest and recover. But you still went to the gym and you still did what you needed to do. So that's more along the line of what I'm talking about, the mindset whenever you get to that point, because, you know, the new year is coming up. We're 2 months from the new year, and then everyone's going to be fired up for their New Year's resolution. And that's easy and fun when you're thinking about, I'm going to get in shape and this year is my year and this time is my time. But when you've been in it and you've been doing it for a while, and the results aren't coming as fast as you wanted, or you're starting to stack up the aches and the pains, that's whenever I'm talking about that mindset just can kind of deteriorate, and it can kind of actually really stress you out and kind of get you discouraged from wanting to go to the gym. And when you get to that point, that you just need to take a step back and remember why you started. And if you're not having fun with doing it, I think one of the biggest things you can do is either one, change your routine, two, figure out something you could do besides the diet you're doing that keeps you on your diet to have a mental break to make it feel like you're cheating but you're not. Or three, just straight up take a break. Like, it could be a day, it could be half a day, it could be a week, it could be 3 days, just something to kind of get you back to where you're missing the gym and you're wanting to be back in there, at least rested enough to go back in there.
Well, I think it's a little bit different because of, for instance, what you're saying in the mindset is I don't really want to be in there. It's not funny, but like it is. I'm in there because I need to be in there. You're in there because you like to be in there. This is a hobby of yours. I think like your mindset of being excited is a little bit different than mine. I'm not excited, and I just started, so it's not like change your diet. It's day 3 now on this diet, so it's not like I need to change my diet to spruce it up. It's just I'm doing it because I need to do it. So I'm not really excited about it. I mean, I'm going to be excited when I start seeing results, but it's not really like fun to me like it is for you guys, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so but also again that type of mindset, like getting started, like whenever you're not excited to get started, once you get in there, then the results start to come. Like you said, you start seeing the weight loss, or you start seeing the muscle gain, or you start seeing the strength gain. That's when you start becoming motivated and it starts getting exciting to be in there. Again, that's something that you'd have to work through the first 2 to 3 weeks. But I'm talking about accumulated fatigue and exhaustion and just straight burnout from doing it for so long and being beat up. Like,
I'm a different kind of burnt out though. I work and we have 3 kids. I have a lot of stuff to do. By the time it's time to work out, it's like the very, very end of my day. So it's hard to not be fatigued in that aspect, if that makes sense to you.
yeah, well, we all get tired from our day-to-day routine or our day-to-day life. Like, we all go through that building up fatigue as the day goes on, and then towards the end of the day you have to go to the gym to work out, so you have to muster up whatever you have left to get in there to work out. That's a day in, day out thing, and it changes day to day. Some days you'll have more energy, some days you get more rest, some days you get to lay around a little bit more, some days you have to work a little bit harder. It just depends day to day. But like I said, I feel like a broken record trying to repeat this again. But like basically what I was wanting to talk about is like things that you do whenever you're in that situation, from being burnt out, from doing it so long, that keeps you going and keeps you motivated to push through those moments. If it's something as simple as changing your diet, your routine, or taking a small break. Like for me, like I like to do pictures, but before and afters and videos, so I can see where I started. So those days where I feel like it's not adding up, it's not counting, it's not worth it, like it's a waste of time, and I don't feel like there's anything that's coming out of the effort I'm putting into it. I look back 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then I see where I was to where I am. I'm like, you know what? It is adding up. It is counting. It is making a difference. And that's why I'm still going, because even though I don't feel like it right now, and I'm feeling like all the other emotions when it comes to this of negativity, I know at the end, whenever I get that break, I get that rest, I get that meal, this is all going to be worth it whenever I'm standing on the other side going, this is why I didn't give up even though I wanted to.
Well, right. I mean, I get that. Like for me, mine is the scale, standing on the scale and seeing it change, seeing myself actually lose the weight, because our goals are a little bit different. I'm trying to lose weight. I don't really have a goal weight, but just seeing it actually working does pay off, and that's what does keep me pushing into going in there as well. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying my mindset's just a little bit different than yours.
And I think like another like good thing for the whole mindset like portion of it is having a good rehab plan. Like being able to, like, your body is going to break down throughout all of it, and it's going to have aches and pains and everything, and having a good like plan kind of built up for when those days come along to help your body recover, and like more than just like you're eating your food and you're getting your nutrition in, but you're going to need some sort of like tissue work or just something like to help you continue getting better. So like having a good rehab plan in mind for that is going to go a long way. Like right now, like my shoulder is bothering me, and it's because like I know there's knots in my left shoulder, like a lot of them, but like I've been working on that. I have that green little cane stick thing, and I kind of work it every night, and I'm trying to help it out, but like, and it gets more sore before it's going to get better. But that's because it is kind of loosening itself up. And then once I hit that good point again or whatever, I'll feel great again, and it's going to be a lot easier for me and stuff. But yeah, like, but having a good rehab plan like that, though, I think does help the mindset a lot, because if you don't have one kind of already set in motion in some form or way of whether you're going to do like the foam rollers or like the bars like you have, or like one of those pressure point kind of canes or the massage gun, something like that, or going to see somebody professionally for it, however you might decide to do those things. If you don't have something in line, then once you hit that wall, you might kind of get to that point where like, I'm hurting so much, or my body's breaking down so much that like I can't do this anymore, sort of thing.
Yeah, and again about, how you said you have your goal and you have your photos and stuff. I do have something that I'm looking forward to. I did buy a dress that's probably, it's really too small for me. And my goal is to fit in that dress and actually look good in that dress, not like a can of biscuits.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that love biscuits. I'm one of them. But yeah, no, and I get what you're saying about the rehab. I guess more what you're meaning is like a prehab, like you're trying to like stay on top of it and ahead of it before you actually get to the point of being hurt or injured. But you start getting bumps and bruises and aches and pains, and having a plan to take care of those to make you feel better physically will change your mental aspect and the way you're looking at it. And that's a good way to go about it too, just having something to look forward to alleviate some of those issues you get along the way. And anybody who's done this long enough, when I was in my 20s and my teens, like it was easy just to clang and bang every day in and day out without any thought of it, rhyme or reason, just go in there and just lift loads and get at it. And then no repercussions or thoughts about the day after or the week to come. And that's a really fun way to train. But as you get older, things change. You recover slower. It takes longer to be able to actually move around easier whenever you're stiff the next day from the heavy training and all the excessive movements. But and that's another thing too. Like I enjoy doing different movements every single workout, and I have two different routines that I bounce back and forth to, because I try to get a bunch of different angles. Now, a bunch of angles are not necessary to grow and get bigger, but what I like about the angles is it helps me feel more mobile, because I'm moving my body in a different plane of motion than just a two-dimensional plane of motion. Like I'm doing a variety of angles and different leverages and everything else that I feel like actually helps keep me more limber. I mean, as silly as that sounds, because I'm constantly getting hurt because, well, I'm just injury prone. But, and like for me, my mindset, like going through this with my knee, my groin, this is nothing new to me. I've been here so many times being hurt and then having to rehab and pull myself back out of this hole to continue to push forward. And like what I do to keep my mind clear and not get discouraged on what I can't do, I focused on what I can do. Hey, you know what? Tonight I did hack squats with 50 pounds. That's 50 more than you could have done if you would have torn your knee completely out. If you would have blown your knee completely out. Hey, you know what? I did hip abductors with 30 pounds, and that's 30 pounds more than I could have done if I ripped it completely off. Because having the mindset of knowing what it feels like to have a serious injury like my pec tearing, and knowing what it's like to not be able to do anything at all with a part of your body, even 20 pounds, 10 pounds, 5 pounds, through a range of motion that doesn't hurt, is a huge win, and it's something to be happy and proud of. Because just because I'm having to start low with light weights doesn't mean that's where I'm going to stay at. It means I have a lot of room to improve and heal up and get back to where I was. And going into a bulk, not being able to lift heavier weights and not not take on bigger loads and heavier loads for more reps and more sets, it's kind of like counterproductive. So in my mind, I'm kind of like, well, maybe I'll just continue to cut, because there's no point in trying to bulk on my lower body if I can't even handle heavier loads. Now, I'm not saying you have to go heavier, but getting the point where you're doing sets of 15 to 20 reps or 12 to 15 reps or 8 to 12 reps, eventually your weight's going to have to go up. Even if you're doing it with 75 pounds, eventually that's going to have to go up. And it's only going to continue to go up till it hits a point that you can't go anymore. So before I get to that point, or I strain my knee from trying to get to that point, I'm thinking about possibly pulling back on the bulk for a couple more weeks and then just saying, let me just keep at this cut. And again, that's something that keeps my mindset going forward. Not like, oh no, I can't do what I wanted to do, so now I'm just going to give up. It's like, okay, you know what? Here's another fork in the road. Let's go down this path to keep me on track to going.
Right, and at the same time, like, let's be honest, you still have fat you can lose. So it's not like cutting again is going to not be beneficial for you, because you're still going to go for that look that you're kind of wanting to go for.
Yeah, I still got a lot of fat to go. There's no question about that. I mean, if you have eyes and see the video, you'll know, like, man, this dude's way too fat to be bulking, because I'm actually at 16% body fat, which is actually still heavy for a bulk. Like, I would prefer to be around 10% and then bulk up to like 13, 14%. But again, like, I want to compete next year, and I don't want to be, honestly, to be completely transparent, I don't want to cut from May of this year all the way till May of next year to have to cut another 3-4 months. It's like, I kind of wanted just a little bit of a break for the winter months, but at the same time, with my knee the way it is, I might just have to just run the way that I've been going and just let my body heal up while I keep the loads lighter and focus on being more aesthetic and losing that fat.
I do definitely like you a lot more when you're bulking, though. You're a lot more pleasant to be around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, the extra food's always going to be helpful. Just dealing with that whole hangry thing. So, but yeah. So, I mean, if you got to stick with the cutting back and everything, it's still going to be beneficial. I mean, I'm already shredded, so like things are going well for me. But yeah, so
you shredded your underwear when you bent over, maybe.
I mean, goals, buddy, goals.
That's why he wants to be an underwear model for Calvin Klein. That way, when he goes through a pair, he can just get another one for free. Just calls them up like, "Hey, these aren't making the cut."
That's right.
I mean, we all have goals, right? And I know I try. I'm a little biased sometimes about it because I know like what my goals are, and I don't ever shame or try to tell anyone what they're doing isn't right or it's wrong or there's no point or I don't understand. Like yesterday, I was joking a little bit about having a sleeper build, about how I don't see the point of wanting to have a sleeper build. But at the end of the day, like if that's your goal, ultimately, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or anyone else says. Your goal is your goal for your reason, and there's no one out there that should deter you from your goal and the reasoning you want what you want, because regardless of what it is, that's what you find desirable, go for it 100%.
We're not all meant to look the same. Everyone has their own preference, so definitely do what you want to do.
Yeah, 100%. Like there's 3 completely different body types just between the 3 of us.
Perfect.
Just so y'all know, she pointed at me when she said perfect.
Definitely did not.
Yeah. No, and
definitely pointed at Richard. That I've seen his posters and his new headshots he's got going on. I'm gonna have to go with Richard on the perfect.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, also, another little side note here. I'm trying to get a new thumbnail for the logo of our channel. Trying to work on that. I got a couple different ideas I'm messing around with, but it's slow going for that logo design and everything. Not in a big rush for it, but it'll be nice to have something other than my coffee mug.
Well, I mean, you have great ideas and you have a good vision. It's just hard to place the vision together because we're not artistic.
Yeah. Well, I'm creative. I'm just not artistic. And the thing about it is too is I want a logo that is going to look good on a shirt, a coffee mug, or on a banner. Because at the end of the day, I want to represent my own brand, which is going to be you, me, and the scale, and I want to be able to wear that, on my chest and
loud and proud.
Yeah, for no other reason other than I'm here and I like giving out information, or even just not even so much information as entertainment to anyone that finds these videos entertaining and stuff like that. Like I enjoy people that just enjoy the content just because it's entertaining to them, and whether I get 20 people that watch it legitimately enjoy it, or I get 2,000 or 200,000, doesn't matter. As long as someone's out there enjoying the content, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, yeah, you'll continue tweaking the design. Like you showed us a bunch of different possibilities, and you never know. Like maybe somebody watching the video might decide to throw a little hand out and give you some help too. So
yeah, maybe. So, but I think that's going to be it for me on this one. Do you guys have anything else y'all want to add, or anything to chime in about mindset or the mentality or anything like that?
I'm good for tonight.
I'm good as well.
All right, well, that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. We appreciate y'all stopping by and checking us out. If you've made it this far in the video, if you guys want to go ahead and leave a like, I'd appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, if you would, I'd also appreciate that. And if you don't want to like and you don't want to subscribe, it's as simple as don't do it. But we will see you tomorrow.
Yep. Later.
Bye.